What is up, you guys? It is your girl Jubilee. Also, I go by Jules or Julie, as you may know me as. And I am here today, as you can see from the title, to give you a life update. I quit my job. Your girl quit her job. Yes, after 10 years of being with one company, I finally put in my resignation letter and it was time to put me first. I'm here to kind of fill you in, start my YouTube journey back, but give you all the tea, all the updates as to what's been going on in my life currently. I want to be here with you guys, and I feel like for most of my time on social media, online, I've kind of hid in the shadows with just certain things that's been going on in my life, because it's really hard for me to open up and be vulnerable. So I want to start doing that and just being more open and kind of just letting you know, like, my life is not all butterflies and rainbows and all of that all the time. It's really not. But when I get in certain moods, I tend to pull back, which is, you know, normal, I guess. I'm very reserved. What's the word I'm looking for? Private. Yeah, I don't know why I couldn't think of that. I'm a very private person. But I'm kind of here just to kind of, again, open up, share more, and just let you know that I'm human. I'm just not, you know, a perfect person on social media. I have issues too. So yes, I resigned from my job of 10 years in December of 2021. As of now, it was the best decision I've ever made. I feel really light and just took that burden off of me. I couldn't be happier. Enough was enough. At the end of the day, like, it really wasn't for me. You know how you kind of just stay in situations, like, you blink an eye and like it's 5 years later. A lot was going on in my life, and I feel like I was just in survival mode, just kept putting one foot in front of the other to keep going. And then I look up and it's like, what am I doing here? So yes, I resigned a couple days before my birthday just because it was too much going on, stress and anxiety. And with me turning 35, I just wanted a fresh start. I just really was in a place of, I need to do what's best for me. And being there and just having all that stress, no. I was having, you know, minor issues with my health, nothing, you know, alarming, but I'm pretty much a healthy person. It's like, what is this? What's going on? And it pretty much was linked to stress. So the main cause of stress had to go. So let's go back to the beginning and tell you how I ended up there. So I graduated from West Chester University, go Rams, in 2011. I was supposed to graduate in 2010, but that's a whole other story. Well, actually, I graduated in January of 2011. The graduation was supposed to be in December. Big snowstorm. It was postponed to January. So I walked in January of 2011. I was hyped that I graduated, finished college and everything, but my family life was pretty much in shambles. Let me take a sip of water. Was trying to figure out life after college. What do I want to do? I'm not going to disclose the company. I worked in higher education, and this wasn't my choice. I was at a point, you know, trying to find a job, fresh out of college. Didn't really know what field I wanted to go into. I graduated West Chester University with a professional studies degree, which is pretty much a liberal arts degree. I ended up there because I did not want to do 5 and 6 years in college. I initially went in thinking I was going to pursue elementary education. Changed my major a few times, and I was at the point where I met with my advisor and I'm like, what do I need to do to graduate on time? Just because I didn't want to rack up more student loans than I already have now that I'm still paying for. Joe, what's going on? Anyway, so I was just trying to figure out, you know, fresh out of college, what I want to do, who am I, all this stuff, you know, was going through some family problems. So I was trying to make a living for myself because I didn't really have anyone to rely on at that time. A friend of mine, she told me about looking into temp agencies. I actually got a few other jobs before I got this job at different universities. So when I got this call, it was at a university again, and it was for like a month or two assignment. And they love me, of course, why not? But no, they love me, and they offered me a full-time position. I didn't have to interview or anything, so that was a blessing from God. So I'm like, full-time job, I don't have to go through the rigmarole of interview process or anything like that. It was just like, sign this paperwork and you're good to go. A blessing. Again, didn't have anything going on at that time as far as like full-time opportunities. So your girl had benefits, full-time job, like, let's take it. I blink and it's 10 years later. It's like, that wasn't initially like in my plans, but just because of how life works, you know, you're going through different things. I just felt like I was on survival mode pretty much. There was a lot of things just going on in my life at that time while I was at that job that I really lost track of time. But anyway, so in 2011, and this is me opening up, being vulnerable, I suffered a loss. I was pregnant with twins and had complications at 21 weeks, and yeah. So this was right around the time they offered me the full-time position, and that was just a lot to go through at the time. It probably was like a couple weeks after, and my job was on the line. I didn't have like time off, FMLA. I didn't even really know much about that at that time and wasn't eligible anyway. So I took some time off just because, as you can imagine, I just felt like, what am I going to do now? Like, I honestly felt like I couldn't go on just because that was so hard to deal with at that time. So I had, you know, a coworker calling me like, girl, are you coming back? Like, what's going on? They want to know what to do about your position and stuff. So I had to pull myself together because, again, like, I'm out here basically on my own. What am I going to do? I just, like, you know, built myself up with the help of God, of course, to go back to work. And it was just, you know, continuing as normal, you know, trying to show up as your best, do your best to keep your job, basically. And during that time, I also suffered a lot in the relationship that I was in. It was kind of on and off, but I suffered abuse of many kinds, and it was really a tough time. Again, still showing up to work with all that's going on, just because I've just always been a strong person, and I feel like that's a crutch for me, because it's just like, well, this is what I'm used to. I gotta, you know, pull myself up. And it's just like, no, that's not really what you're supposed to do. But anyway, it was just a lot going on, and I never took time off, never. And it was just me like going back to work the next day, like never really taking care of myself and like what I needed to do for myself. At that time for me, it was suppressing, you know, all those emotions and just putting a smile on my face, showing up to work and showing up for what I need to do. It was just years of that. While at that company, just like going through a lot with family, relationships, just, you know, personal things as a loss that I'm trying to grieve through. And I just kept pressing it down, trying to suppress it. It caught up, especially with the pandemic. 2020, I started working from home, and I was just under a lot of stress. In that first position, I was there for 5 years, and I just felt kind of stuck because it was kind of stagnant at that position, and I just needed something different. I need something more. Like, this isn't fulfilling. I was battling, should I leave the company? Should I do something else? What do I want to do? But when you're responsible for yourself, it's just like you kind of make sacrifices in certain areas. So I got another position at the university. Wasn't thrilled about it, of course, but it was more money, more responsibility, something that, you know, I kind of worked myself up the corporate ladder. So I hated it. And
corny, lame, boo, tomato, I'm throwing tomatoes.
Didn't like it. It was too much responsibility. When I say it was more responsibility, it was all on me. It was too much, too much. But again, I needed a check. You know, these bills, they come monthly. It was when the pandemic started, of course, you know, that time was a lot for everyone. Everyone kind of just was going through different challenges, new normals. You know, I was working from home since the beginning of the pandemic. I've been home just trying to balance that work-home life. Again, the majority of the work being on myself, just going through personal things. Again, it was a lot. It started affecting my health. It was out of the norm for me. Again, I'm like generally a healthy person, so for me to start feeling sick and everything, it was just like, whoa, like what's going on? So I met with my doctor. She pretty much said it probably was stress, because I was under a lot of stress at the time, stress and anxiety. So I ended up taking a leave of absence from my job in July. Just with the things that was going on, I needed to pay attention to my health. I felt like this was the wake-up call for me. Again, going through all these things and just, you know, maybe taking a few days for myself and then back to the show. And after years of that, my body was like, enough is enough. You need to take the time off for yourself. You need to put yourself first. You need to heal, grieve. You need to go through the emotions to get yourself healthy. Because I've just been putting it off for so long. So yes, took the leave of absence in July. I ended up being out for 5 months from my job. That wasn't planned. Thought I would just, you know, start with a month. But through, you know, course of events, I ended up being out for 5 months. Just, again, I had a lot of stress and anxiety. My doctor also said I had symptoms of depression, which I knew probably was true, just never, you know, the Black community, we have to do better. I felt like I've been depressed for so long, but never wanted to like put a name to it. First, because, you know, you're afraid, or I'll speak for myself, like I'm afraid that, you know, if I accept the diagnosis, you know, now something wrong with me, you know, I got mental issues, and you know, I didn't want those titles on me. So even though I know I was going through different emotions, I mean, who wouldn't have symptoms of depression with all of the things that I've been through? And just touching on the few things that has to deal with this situation, not even touching on my childhood. So I pretty much just, you know, had to accept it, because if you don't accept certain things, it's like, how are you going to tackle it? It's like you have to put a name to it in order to heal from it. You can't run from it and think it doesn't exist. Also, another update, I've been seeing a therapist for my symptoms of anxiety and depression. So it's been a help. I'm glad I did start, just to kind of start that process of, again, healing, just going through the motions of going through grief. So after being out for those 5 months, I didn't want to go back. You know, I took some time to really think about what I see for my life, what I envision, and it's not at that job. So yeah, I was giving my all to a job in a company where it's just like, what is it really doing for me besides, you know, giving me a check every month? It's just like, it wasn't fulfilling. I was unhappy, stressed. So it's like, all this for what? You know, I could take a chance and have faith in God and figure it out, or I can stay here and continue to deteriorate. It was at a point when we still were in the office that I couldn't get out of bed. I was late every day, and this is not something that I'm proud of. I do need to work on my lateness, but this was a different type of late. Like, I just could not get out of bed and to go into work. Like, that was the key point there. Number one, that I hated that job and that I was going through a depressed state. Back on a lighter note, I started my own business. And when I started, it said December 2020. Is that right? 2020. I feel like it was 2020. I got little notes here. It said I started the business December 2021. That's a lie. It was 2020. So I started my own creative business, Jubilee Creative LLC, where I'm the content creator, photographer, everything creative under one umbrella. I took a leap to start that. Well, I still was at my job. I didn't, you know, just start the business and leave my job. Started that pretty much as a side hustle, just to have, you know, something I was already doing, but I wanted to make it official. So I made it official in December of 2020, and it's what I'm doing now. So as of now, I am a full-time content creator / entrepreneur, and I'm figuring out life day by day. I did not have a plan when I quit my job. I just knew that I couldn't stay there anymore for the sake of my health. It was just do or die, basically. So I had to leave, and I feel so light, just so fresh. Just, the sky's the limit, basically. The sky is the limit, and nothing can stop me. I'm all the way up. No, but for real, like, I'm definitely leaning on God in this season of my life.
Oh!
Jesus.
He needs some milk!
Because there's no guaranteed checks coming in.
Bruh.
Not at this point. And I'm figuring it out day by day and seeing where this leads. I'm just gonna put myself out there and I'm gonna figure it out as I go, because that's pretty much how I started when I graduated college. Didn't have a plan, and God opened up those doors, you know, to get me to where I am today. But it was just time to close that chapter. I'm just here to encourage you after all of this to do what's in your heart. Of course, I prayed about it, and I had peace. That was something that was important, because if I didn't have peace about it, then it wasn't from God to tell me to quit my job with no plan. Because I was in a different situation where I stepped out on faith, but I had anxiety the whole time. But in this situation, I had peace. Like, I wasn't anxious, wasn't stressed, and like, oh my God, what am I gonna do? Oh my God. Like, no, I had peace. It just was like, it's time to close that chapter. I'm going to rely on God for any and everything, and He's gonna take care of me, because I'm His child, and that's what God does. He provides, He takes care of His children, and I know this to be true because He's doing it. He's opened doors for me through my content creation journey thus far, presented opportunities to me, and I'm so grateful for that. Number one, I'm just having faith through this entire journey. But I just wanted to come and share this with you guys as to what's going on. So that's my little update. Quit my job. I'm out here figuring out life. So there was a post on Instagram from We The Urban that kind of spoke to this situation. I think the toughest thing about adulthood is that your life could be crumbling and you still have to show up and do what you need to do. That's just how life is sometimes, and it's not right. So that's why when I had the opportunity to take off, or I made the opportunity, because I always felt like the opportunity wasn't there. Just because I felt like I was the point person in these positions, it just always felt like I couldn't take time off, take a vacation, or like really take extended time. Saying all this to say, really like think about your life. Pray to God for him to reveal to you like how to move. Well, for me in this situation, again, I felt peace about my decision, and I did really feel like that anxiety up until I put my resignation letter in, which was December 7th, 2021, 2 days before my birthday, which is December 9th, and 2 days before my 35th. So that was a big move for me. As scary as it is, in reality, you know, I don't have a plan, or didn't have a plan at the time. I know that making this move would be the best move for me, but I don't know what's on the other side of the door. And that can be nerve-wracking. And I try not to think about that, just to keep me level. I really am moving each day with intention, praying that God just, you know, orders my steps and lead me and guides me to what he wants me to do. So that's what I'm doing, and I'm going to continually be in prayer just for God to open doors, like, and take care of me, because that's what he's been doing up until this point, and I have faith that he's going to continue. So there you go. Here I am, full-time entrepreneur out here winging it, you know, figuring life out as it comes. And I'm just grateful though, to God to be in this position, to have had the resources to now be out of work for 3 months. So hopefully this inspires you, it encourages someone. In no way am I encouraging you to quit your job without a plan. Definitely don't do that if you don't have peace about it and have some type of backup plan. Again, like, I didn't plan this out, but I had the resources to make that decision for myself. Again, I live on my own, I have my own apartment, so that was something that I had to take into consideration before I even made that decision. And I'm not sure if I'm going to get another job at this point, or if I'm going to continue, you know, the hustle. I'm just leaving this in God's hands. But I'm just grateful that I took the leap of faith to where I am now, where I'm making decisions on my own, relying on God, because that's something that he wants us to do. Like, everything that we have comes from him, because that job could be going tomorrow, and then what? So definitely relying on God for everything. Everything. And he has done some amazing things since I've resigned, so glory to God for that. So I'm gonna wrap this up. I feel like I've been rambling for so long. I did try to film this initially a couple weeks ago and was just trying to present this as perfect as possible, but my life isn't perfect. You know, I'm not perfect by any means. So I just wanted to come and like have this conversation with you guys, fill you in on what's going on in my life, and let y'all see the journey. This is the journey of quitting my job and becoming this full-time entrepreneur as of now, and seeing what life brings. You know, I'm 35. I'm just taking it one day at a time, and that's all you can do. Take it one day at a time and rely on God. And that's what I want to leave you guys with. So thank you so much for watching. I appreciate it. Thank you guys for being here and taking this ride with me. I'm so excited. Hope you guys are too. I'm going to be showing some behind the scenes of my day-to-day life and what that looks like for me. And I'm going to bring to you also some daily vlogs. Well, that's the day-to-day. Daily vlogs, other videos. Definitely let me know what you guys want to see from me, because I have time. I have time to record, because I want to get the ball rolling on YouTube. I feel more comfortable with this camera. I've been like doing some practice vlogs for about a month, So I actually have that to upload after this one. I've been kind of waiting on me to finish this video before I can start putting out the vlogs to kind of give you some context as to what's going on. Yeah, so there you have it. Be sure to like this video, give it a thumbs up, subscribe. If you aren't already subscribed, please subscribe. You'll love it here. I want you to take this journey with me. I want you to get to know me. I want to get to know you. So let's talk, let's chat it up in the comments. And I'll see you in my next video. Peace.